Hey, this is We Called It. We are coming off a rough week where I was 2-5. Ken was 1-5. The good news is, on the year, we are still doing hot. Both over 55. It's not our fault. It's the NFL's fault. All right. The Chargers should have won. Mac Jones shouldn't take a safety when his team is down 2 points. And the Titans had first and goal on the 1 for me to cover. And all 3 of those fell through. So I'm not taking blame for anything except for trusting Baker Mayfield. I know better, and I just don't listen to myself.
Yep. And Mac Jones has let me down 2 weeks in a row, and it will never happen again because I will not be betting New England until Bailey Zappi is their quarterback.
Who's the other dude? They have like a running quarterback that they've been
Malik
trying
Cunningham.
to work in. Yeah.
Wide receiver / quarterback. Wide receiver first.
As we try to bounce back, we want to remind everyone that we have our JJ Watt rookie card giveaway. 100 subscribers, we are making our way there. Zach Evans, we might have been one of the first people to say, hey, this guy could be a big thing in fantasy. And here we are, 4 running backs for the Rams later, and looks like he's getting the start this week. As a reminder, he was like the number 1 running back in Texas in the class before Bijan Robinson going into college. So kid's got talent. Hopefully we see it show through in the Rams and we can actually brag. So starting off with our picks this week, Ken, your favorite pick this week is Tampa Bay -2.5. Why are you not learning from my mistakes, and why are you trusting Baker Mayfield?
Because I would never trust Baker Mayfield against Detroit, and that's why I didn't bet him this week. But I have a pretty firm belief in this Tampa Bay defense. They have a good run-stopping defense. And with this Atlanta offense, if you shut down the run, you force Desmond Ridder pass. I'll take a good pass defense against Desmond Ridder all day, every day. I was telling Phil before we even started, even when the run game isn't working, Atlanta's still like, we'll still run it first down and second down. They can't stop Bijan and Algier all day. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense has not looked fantastic, but I think that they'll be able to put up more points. Detroit is just in a different atmosphere than Tampa Bay. That's why I faded them against Philly. I faded them against Detroit, but I think they can beat these teams that are pretending to be mediocre. Atlanta, that's you.
Desmond Ridder, just going to emphasize, he is PFF's lowest graded quarterback, which I guess you have a really good point then when you're saying not to trust him. For my first game, I am going with the Cardinals +7.5. You know me, anti-Geno Smith. And last week it showed out. I think his last 2 possessions, he had people running wide open that would have been easy touchdowns, and he missed them. Arizona has just been this spunky team that always gives people a good game, even if it's not pretty. And I think they are going to come out. Seattle's defense, I don't think it has been that good. Arizona's passing game with Josh Dobbs has been surprisingly good. So I think 7.5 is way too many points for a divisional matchup.
I agree. Arizona's just been a real gutsy team. They're playing hard. They don't have their quarterback. By the way, Kyler Murray just cleared to start practicing. He's got that 3-week window off of IR, so he'll be back pretty soon. But especially without James Conner, who's looked really, really good up until that injury. I think that they can still piece together. They're just playing hard. They're just playing tough. You like to see that.
Let's go on to your next pick then. We are both going with this. Cleveland -2.5. We are riding the red hot hand after they pulled the miracle upset against San Fran. Who cares that they needed a missed 41-yard field goal? Why are you trusting the Browns to continue and beat that and get the win against the Colts?
I think that Indianapolis is deflated. Anthony Richardson, he's doing season-ending shoulder surgery. Gardner Minshew looked bad, and that defense is just going to show up. And the question, Minshew, he'll take sacks. Is he going to turn the ball over? I'm not sure, but I see a lot of punts in this game. I'm also taking the under 40. I would have taken it all the way down to probably like 38 or 37.
The defense has just been completely absurd. what it can do. The only game it's looked bad is when DTR was throwing 10, 12 picks to the Ravens in week 3 in week 3 or 4. But outside of that, they have absolutely shut everyone down. And the PFF guys, Sam Munson and Steve Pizzolo, talked about it. But Gardner Minshew has this amazing ability to feel pressure and get away from it. But right after that, he throws the ball into coverage. So the Browns are going to be coming. Who knows if he'll have enough time to drift away and make stupid decisions. But I just I can't see the Colts doing anything against the Browns. Like, they seem like a light version of the San Fran offense with Minshew leading the way, where it's like you have a quarterback, limited physical tools. Your receiving group is good, but like has niche skill sets, and you're supposed to have a good run game, but it's not going to matter when the Browns' defensive front is absolutely shutting it down. And then I know, Ken, we got an argument about this recently, but I believe in Deshaun Watson a lot more than you, and he can absolutely put up 17 points and win this game 17-3. So I trust the under is a solid pick, but I think the Browns will be scoring more than you think, and that's just because it sounds like if they score a touchdown, you'll have your mind blown.
Two things real quick. I did see that Deshaun Watson, that they're calling it a like a rotator cuff strain or something. I heard someone say there's micro tears, but I don't think he's playing this week. Myles Garrett versus Trent Williams, I know he's a little beat up last week, but he had a 31% win rate on Trent Williams, which was the worst in Trent Williams' career. Now, Myles Garrett was on a whole nother level last year, and he is, completely unblockable this year. So, Gardner Minshew, try to get out of his way. Good luck. Sorry, not happening.
Dude, the addition of Zadarius Smith is awesome too. You can't double team them both, and Zadarius Smith has been a beast. Mm-hmm. It's actually opened up opportunities for pass rushers 3, 4, and 5, whoever they are.
Tons of pressure up the middle,
rotational
too.
Units, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're just looking good. I can talk about the Browns defense all day if you'd like. This is awesome.
Yeah, super Browns. Can tell that we're Browns fans, huh?
That's right.
All right, my next pick. I got Washington. You're on this too. Washington -2.5. You talked me into it as we were making our picks, and I believe in Washington. The Giants, they played tough with the Bills, and they just made stupid decisions and dropped the ball offensively, and that's exactly what's going to keep happening. It's just the offense doesn't work because there's not enough talent, there's not enough blocking, and I still believe in the Washington front, even though it hasn't played up to the potential it has. I mean, they have all their resources put in there, and it's been a good front, but it needs to be the best in the league. Sam Howell finally got some protection last week and was wheeling and dealing. Terry McLaurin, they said, hey, let's get that guy the ball a lot more, and it worked really well to start. Jahan Dotson has yet to really click, but Curtis Samuel is filled in as a good number 2. So I just believe in Washington. But this really is just anti-Giants. There has been no team that has looked as bad as they have. And, I don't care if they're playing the Bills, who are on jet lag from coming over from London, and then they just drop the ball. They had the play at the end of the half where they ran the ball and they let the clock expire, which could have been a field goal. And then they had the last play of the game where you can at least try to QB sneak it for half a yard, and instead they throw it over Darren Waller's head. Regardless of if there's holding on that play or not, it doesn't matter because you made a stupid play call. Next time, just push the ball half a yard and you'll be fine. So why do you have Washington?
Two things to add. No, I won't press on too much, but Sam Howell's looked pretty good. Let's be real. This is his rookie year, and I think he's doing just fine. Turnovers are going to come, but I don't think they're going to come against this Giants team. I think that the big thing, once again, just on the Giants hate, number one, Saquon Barkley is still coming back from a high ankle sprain. Yes, did he played? Did he look like himself? Not even close. Did he look good? Not really. It is going to come back. It is going to take some time. I'm one of those frustrated Saquon Barkley fantasy owners, so I feel you out there. I think Tyrod Taylor is a better quarterback for this team than Daniel Jones. I just don't think I think Daniel Jones makes more mistakes. He's going to make more turnovers, takes more sacks. Tyrod Taylor plays a pretty safe game, pretty boring, but that's kind of what kept him in it against the Bills. So if Daniel Jones is back, especially, yeah, I'm all over this. I think that defensive front, like Phil was saying, is gonna continue to keep looking better. Chase Young, it shows some signs of life, and he has more in him.
Yeah, I just pulled up their PFF grades, and the whole right side of their line is bottom like 10 at their position, and then Justin Pugh, their left tackle. I don't know if you watched Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football, whenever they played, but he announced himself as fresh off the couch instead of the school he went to. So just a little reminder that this offensive line is absolutely atrocious right now.
And their left tackle, who was looking good, left the game with an injury. Who knows? I'm not sure where it is, but
I thought he's on IR or like gone or something. But
it looked pretty severe. Yeah. So cool. Good luck out there.
All right. So now on to Ken's next pick. Looks like you have San Fran on Monday night going up against primetime Kirk Cousins. You know how much we love to rag on that. San Fran -7 though on the road. That would make them 13-point home favorites. That's ridiculous. Why do you think they're going to cover the large spread?
Well, you already said the Kirk Cousins and primetime bit, so that one's easy. The Vikings will not be able to run the ball because they haven't been able to run the ball. These linebackers for the 49ers, also, playing on a muddy field slows them down. This defense is all about speed, and it's going to be there. There's no Justin Jefferson. There's Kirk Cousins in primetime. Tell me what you like about this Vikings team, because I don't know. On the other side of the ball, Brock Purdy, yes, he might be without two weapons. By the way, they're going up on buys. I personally would not play Christian McCaffrey. Oblique injuries, they do need to rest. They do need time to heal. I heard Debo, some pretty positive reports from Debo, but either way, I don't think you're going to need them to score. It's always been a good running scheme. Kyle Shanahan has always been able to have, any which running back produce. Ask JaMychal Hasty, ask Jerick McKinnon. He's always been good. Jordan Mason and Eli Mitchell can absolutely fill in for Christian McCaffrey. I think Brock Purdy, he looked decent driving down at the end of the game there. Give him a whole week to really mesh in with Ayuk and Kittle, who are healthy. Also, this Viking defense has not been that great. I do not think that on either end of the ball, or either side of the ball, the 49ers are going to struggle. I think this is a great matchup for them. The only thing that's going against them is that it's away. But guess what? I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I think one of the big things that people overlook in that Browns game is you go in with a game plan, whether it's like run with Christian McCaffrey, use Deebo Samuel and him interchangeably, get motion going, screens, whatever. When you lose both of them, you delete part of the playbook that you built your scheme for. When you build your pass scheme, it's going to be more Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle focused. So Brock Purdy is not going to look the same as he did last week, excluding the weather elements, and the scheme is going to look a lot different. So might be talking me into that because, man, I can't see the Vikings doing anything on offense with the players they have now. Jordan Addison's been okay, but not good. Hawkinson might get 10 targets for 50 yards. So I don't know if I believe in anything for the Vikings. With that, we're going to go to my next pick. And it's going to be Green Bay versus Denver, under 45. So I have no idea why this game's 45. Neither team really wants to score. Denver comes out and they typically have a couple big shot plays where they get huge chunks of yards, and then in the second half they completely fizzle and look absolutely like nothing until it's garbage time and they're throwing back into the game. And then Green Bay, we just see it over and over again. They're a team that, Matt LaFleur comes from the Tennessee offensive scheme where it's let's run the ball a million times and have 4 or 5 good pass plays to set us up. And they do set up great play action, and they do make those big threatening plays. But again, like Denver, that's going to be a touchdown or two. And this total is the third highest of the week. I don't understand that. I don't care how bad Denver defense is. Green Bay is not going to play to run up the score. They're going to play to win by a field goal because it's what they do. So under 45 here, even if Green Bay does go off and, has an amazing game for them and scores 27 points, I am not trusting Denver to score 14 against this Green Bay defense that is still legit and has talent littered throughout the whole thing. It's just a mess in Denver for their offense. So that's why I'm not trusting them to do anything, even though I believed in them for a long time. All right, let's go on then. Your next pick, probably one of the best games of the week, and I cannot wait to watch it. I do not have a pick on it down, but you have Detroit versus Baltimore under 42.5. Why are you going with the under in this game?
So a little bit of this is I probably believe in Detroit a little more than their line's giving them credit for, but also I do not believe in this Baltimore Ravens offense at all. I feel like they've been set up in some really good situations. I feel like they've played some teams that are underwhelming. The only defense they played well or that is good, obviously the Browns, but I mean, the offense for the Browns was never on the field. They were throwing outs and interceptions the whole game. But the whole huge passing attack for Baltimore, it hasn't been there. I don't think Lamar Jackson has a game over 300 yards. For a while there, he didn't have a game over 200. But
they rank 30th in pass attempts and 24th in pass yards.
Yes. And they do not have explosive runners. I love Gus Edwards as a football player. I think that, he's a good up the middle runner and he can get 4 yards where it should be 2. That makes for a very slow game. Detroit, they want to control the game. They want to have, the short passes, the third down throws to the slot Amon-Ra St. Brown or Sam Laporta, over the middle. They want to control the clock. They want to get more plays in than the other team. I think that Baltimore's defense is good. I think that the Detroit Lions offense is better. I think that you're going to get a lot of field goals. I think you're going to get a lot of punts. I don't see enough explosion. I see a lot of methodical drives, and I see a lot of punts. So give me the under.
Yeah, that sounds convincing. Both these teams are, top 10 defenses, and their offenses have played well, but they both do love to run the ball. They are first and fifth in rush attempts.
Good game, but boring.
My next game, Pitt versus the Rams. I'm taking the under in this game at 43.5. So it's the way Pittsburgh has to play in every one of their games. If you told me that going in the game, the Steelers' opponent is scoring 20, I am willing to bet that they lose every one of those games. The only one they won is the Browns, and that's because their defense had 2 touchdowns. So I think the defense is going to play. And they have a front built to create problems for the Rams. The Rams can't handle, their line is not very good. It's played very well, but it's not overly talented. And now you're going against TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, and I don't know the status on Cam Hayward. But regardless, you have 2 top 12 pass rushers who are just going to make life a nightmare for Matt Stafford. I know Cooper Kupp's back, and he's looked really good. Puka Nacua is still playing really well. But last week, with all that talent, the Rams put up 26 points, and it was a real slow 26 points. Then you go over to Pittsburgh. Kenny Pickett is absolutely awful. This offense does absolutely nothing ever. And I think Aaron Donald is going to make a mess of that interior line. And it's just going to be another real boring game to watch. Maybe a couple big plays from George Pickens and Cooper Kupp, bring it up on your red zone. But I don't think there's going to be very much going on. So under 43.5, similar to Green Bay versus Denver. If you tell me the Rams scored 24, I'm going to be like, that's cool. Pittsburgh maybe has 10. So not worried about that at all, unless, TJ Watt continues going through and saving games like he did against Baltimore and Cleveland and creating touchdowns for the Steelers. And, their offense continues to just be a buzzkill.
So I just want to make a note real quick. So we're picking 4 unders this week, but unders have been killing it this year. I don't know if you know the numbers off the top of your head, but I want to say they're hitting over 60%. Might be closer to 65%.
Last week is the one I know, and it was like unders were 12-2-2 or something like that. It was just completely absurd where they, won 12, lost 2.
It was just like that 2 weeks ago too. So you see the numbers, the unders kind of creeping down, but still like them. I still think these defenses are getting so good, except in this Miami or any game Miami's in, because man, that offense is just so fun to watch. We're going to get these fast guys moving before the snap, and you're not going to catch them. And it's just working. And Tua's just like, I'm going to throw it to the fastest guy accurately. Okay. I've always loved Raheem Mostert ever since he was with the Browns, actually. But he's just really fast. And, Achane before he got hurt, really fast. But I think that their offensive line, the whole like we're going to get it out quick, so you doesn't matter how bad our offensive line is, and it'll protect Tua. I don't think that works against Philly. Philly gets so much interior pressure. I don't think that this line can handle that. I think that Phil had an interesting point about the teams that Miami has played so far this year. There's only one real team, and it's Buffalo, and they kind of put them in their place. But I do not think that you're going to get these big plays the way that they have, and they're going to have to play a real football game. And Philly is just absolutely hungry after losing to a rough one to the Jets. I think Jalen Hurts, they get back to what works, and that's ball security, safe passes. I don't think that Miami's defense, although very much improved, I just don't think they've been challenged very much by, real offenses, and that's what they're getting this time. I probably don't have a pick in this game if Philadelphia won last week, but I don't think they can lose 2 in a row. I know that's not a good reason to pick a team, but I think that Miami's a little bit overhyped, and I think Philly, kind of like Buffalo, puts them in their place. It won't be nearly as bad. I think it'll be a great game, but I think they come out on top and give them a field goal.
So I will say for both of these teams, it's turned into like the wide receiver one show. It's Tyreek Hill putting up 800 yards. And then A.J. Brown started off slow, but has just been tearing it up game after game. I'm excited that, one, should be a good Sunday night game. And if it isn't, I'll be upset. But two, I want to see Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle, Alabama receivers, both drafted in the top 10 at the same time. I want to see them start playing well. It's getting on my nerves that these guys are coming out averaging, 40, 50 yards a game when they should be guys that are like lighting it up, averaging 80 yards a game, having a couple, 150-yard games because of all the attention the number ones draw. So maybe we get that Sunday night and it could be a more exciting game. But as like, would you rather throw it to your superstar receiver or your number 2? And so far, no team has forced, the Eagles or Dolphins to turn away from that number 1 option. So we'll see what happens on Sunday night. My last pick is going to be Chargers plus 5.5 in what I think is also an exciting game. I don't know how many times I've bet the Chargers this year. It's got to be 4 or 5. I'm just not going to stop believing in these guys. Last week, what burned me and what always burns me with them is when it's a field goal spread because they are going to blow it, or, less than a field goal spread. They're going to blow it, and it's just going to be a heartbreak. This game, though, is 5.5. That is a lot of points for a team that always goes toe-to-toe with the Chiefs and always loses. So the good news is I don't have to worry about them choking the game away, because when the Chiefs win by a late field goal or up by 4 late, I can just sit back, relax, and hope Justin Herbert doesn't throw a pick six and that's it. So 5.5 is a lot for the Chargers, who Kellen Moore plays well from behind when he's throwing a whole bunch. It's when they have a lead, it's when it's tight that they don't do well. So Chiefs going to come out, do their usual, up by 10, up by 14, and this is going to be the standard backdoor cover. Justin Herbert's going to look great, tearing it up. Keenan Allen's going to have his 150 yards, and then they're going to lose by 3. So I am once again buying into the Chargers to play the Chiefs the exact way they have the last couple of years. That is very fun to watch. Lots of passing yards for both teams. Chargers lose by less than 1 possession or less than a touchdown. And in this case, I got the 5.5 points to help me out and bail me out when that does happen. So I think that's it for all of our picks. Ken, anything to add? This is something. This is how we want to end the show going forward. Why? Because it's a fun bet, and we can pull them up and just look at them. Lowest or highest scoring game. When we look at the highest scoring games, Dolphins versus Eagles, and the Chargers versus Chiefs, if you're not picking them, you're a fool. So, Ken, who was your pick for lowest score of the week?
First off, I can't believe that under you have, that Packers Broncos. Why is that so high?
I have no idea. It's a 45 point. Like I said, it's the third highest total of the week. Those offenses aren't good enough to facilitate that. You got to be banking on like Russell Wilson having that garbage time turnover or something.
Yeah, pick six or just trash turnovers maybe. But no, I'm doubling down on my under the Lions and Ravens. So that is the 6th lowest.
Plus 950. That's solid odds.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's the combination of good teams, good defenses, and I just don't see a lot of turnovers happening. Now, I mean, could be wrong. If anything's going to happen, it's Lamar Jackson throwing a pick or a fumble. But I just don't. I think it'll just be a more like methodical game. That Ravens Bears game, you're going to have 2 like rookie quarterbacks or two backups in. Like you just don't know. You get some ugly things with them. You get ugly things with Justin Fields too. I mean, if you watch that Bears Denver game, but that would be that one's my favorite one at plus 950.
We're gonna go do something different. Lowest scoring team, I'm going Colts plus 1200. There you go. That's what I like. I think the Browns come out. They don't score more than 6. Backup quarterback versus the best defense that the NFL's seen in like the last since 2010 or something stupid. So I am in. Browns come out, absolutely humiliate the Colts at plus 1200 odds. They're the lowest scoring team of the week. I love that the Patriots are on here as the lowest listed because that's what the Bills do to people. But I mean, if Tyrod Taylor and that Giants team can put up 12, that's going to be too much for the Colts.
I think that with that Bills team, I have one fantasy team that's literally like the whole Bills team. Not bad. It's actually doing really well. But they're missing Matt Milano on defense, and just like him going down, that's so rough. Like he really was like that linchpin, like run stopper. They got great pass rushers, but I think that just having that like dominant linebacker is just something that's like a little bit hard to find and a little underrated. And I think that defense really misses him.
Yeah, middle linebackers are what is it? They're not needed to have a good defense, but they're needed to have a great one. Kind of like they're the last piece that you should ever get for your defense. That's an analytics thing. But once you build a great defense, like when Roquan Smith went to the Ravens, he turned that defense from really, really good to the number 1 in the league. So there it is. A couple fun bets to end on. As a reminder, like, comment, and subscribe. And JJ Watt, we are going to be giving that card away one day. We will get to 100 subscribers, hopefully for the end of the year. So thank you all for listening.